Interesting facts about famous people.
Historically accurate westerns. For those of us who love westerns, we're quick to notice if a western film isn't accurate, whether it be the clothing, horse tack, or props. I'm following up on an earlier video I posted today. There are several westerns that made the effort when it comes to maintaining historical accuracy. It's important to note that no western is 100% accurate. Perhaps they get the historical detail of the event correct, but get some clothing wrong or weapons used. We are talking here about those who do the best effort to get it right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. These movies are fictional accounts of history, but not documentaries. Here are some of the most historically accurate Western films, some based on my viewers' suggestions. If you enjoy the video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it, in no particular order. Simran, 1931. No expense was spared in creating the sprawling western town in Simran. The town gives viewers a real sense of what it was like to live in the Old West. The first western to win a Best Picture Oscar. It would be another 59 years before a western would win the Academy Award for Best Picture again, when Dances with Wolves, 1990, took the main prize. Yancey Cravat, the character played by Richard Dix, was based on real-life lawyer and gunfighter Temple Houston, the son of Sam Houston, who Dix played in Man of Conquest, 1939, and upon whom the 1960s Western TV series Temple Houston, 1963, was based. Hour of the Gun, 1967. Viewer's choice. Marshal Wyatt Earp kills a couple of men of the Clanton gang in a fight. In revenge, Clanton's thugs kill the marshal's brother. Thus, Wyatt starts to chase the killers together with his friend Doc Holliday. Wyatt Earp's giving Warshaw a chance to draw against him is taken from the story of Earp doing that with Florentino Cruz, who also said he'd been paid $50 for his participation in the assassination of Morgan Earp. According to the Stuart Lake book, Wyatt Earp, Frontier Marshal. However, in the movie, Wyatt empties 6 shots into Warshaw. The real Wyatt Earp kept only 5 rounds in his pistols, resting the hammer on an empty chamber for safety, according to the Lake book. Brigham Young, 1940. This western had the advantage of being filmed in 1940, when it was still possible to easily access authentic props, clothes, and wagons. The quality of Brigham Young is so incredible that some people actually believe the still shots from the movie are old historical photos. According to a Movietone newsreel, the Salt Lake premiere of Brigham Young, a month before the New York premiere, was the largest premiere in film history. 215,000 people crowded the streets of Salt Lake City to view a massive parade, complete with floats and racing cars, with the stars riding in them. 20th Century Fox's studio head, Darryl F. Zanuck, also the producer of the film, had a part in planning the parade. The Wild Bunch, 1969. Viewer's choice. It's 1913. As the traditional American West is dying, amongst the inhabitants of this dying era are the gang known as the Wild Bunch. After a failed railroad office robbery, the gang heads to Mexico to do one last job. Seeing their times and lives drifting away in the 20th century, the gang takes the job and ends up in a brutally violent last stand against their enemies deemed to be corrupt, in a small Mexican town ruled by a ruthless general. In an interview, Ben Johnson said that the Mexican women who frolicked with him and Warren Oates in the huge wine vats weren't actresses but prostitutes from a nearby brothel who were hired by Sam Peckinpah, so he could tell people that Warner Brothers paid for hookers for his cast. The Covered Wagon, 1923. Many directors have tried to recreate the realness of the Covered Wagon, but have failed to do so. This was the first Western that ever portrayed important historical events, and it did so without any special effects. To get enough covered wagons for the film, a call went out in California to families that still had their ancestors' covered wagons which had brought them out west. These were gathered so wagons used were authentic, though some had apparently been repaired a bit. The top-grossing US film of 1923. Unforgiven, 1992, Viewer's Choice. Former outlaw and now down on his luck Kansas pig farmer, William Money, takes on a murderous last mission to find the men behind a hideous crime, along with his old partner, Ned Logan, and a brash but inexperienced young gunman, the Scofield Kid. Money re-enters a perilous world he has walked away from many years ago, knowing that he walks right into a trap. However, he needs to find a way to raise his motherless children. Blood demands blood. Who is the hero and who is the villain? The final screen credit reads, dedicated to Sergio and Don, referring to Clint Eastwood's mentors, Sergio Leone and Don Siegel. This is the third Western to win the Best Picture Oscar. The other two are Dances with Wolves and Simran. The Iron Horse, 1924. This silent film used expansive backgrounds to realistically show what the landscape would have looked like during the time period the movie is set in. The kitchen staff for the film was made up largely of Chinese cooks. Some of them had been workers on the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869, the same construction project that forms the basis of this film. A notation on a title card states that in the final scenes of the meeting of the West and East Railways, director John Ford used the actual engines that did meet on that day, the Jupiter and Locomotive 116. This claim was, in fact, not true. Not only was one of the locomotives actually number 119, not 116, but both engines had actually been scrapped by the time of the film, Jupiter in 1909 and number 119 in 1903. True Grit, 2010, Viewer's Choice. Following the murder of her father by hired hand, Tom Chaney, 14-year-old farm girl Mattie Ross sets out to capture the killer. To aid her, she hires the toughest US Marshal she can find, a man with true grit, Reuben J. Rooster Cogburn. Mattie insists on accompanying Cogburn, whose drinking, sloth, and general reprobate character do not augment her faith in him. Against his wishes, she joins him on his trek into the Indian Nation to search for Chaney. Jeff Bridges said that the first piece of direction the Coens gave him was to forget about the John Wayne version. Their movie would be a return to the 1968 source material by the original author, Charles Portis. Long Riders, 1980, Viewer's Choice. Actor brothers playing Outlaw Brothers, Northfield's Minnesota Raid. After the American Civil War, outlaw Jesse James forms a gang comprised of himself, his brother Frank James, Cole Younger and his two brothers, Jim Younger and Bob Younger, as well as Ed Miller and his brother Clell Miller. The gang is led by Jesse James and Cole Younger. The gang starts by robbing small banks and stagecoaches in the Midwest and in their home state of Missouri. Later, the gang targets bigger prizes, such as larger banks and trains. Edward Bunker, who plays Chadwell in the Northfield bank robbery, was actually, among many other things, a convicted bank robber. Originally, Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges were going to play the Ford brothers, but they could not fit it into their schedules. The Revenant, 2015, Viewer's Choice. While exploring uncharted wilderness in 1823, legendary frontiersman Hugh Glass sustains injuries from a brutal bear attack. When his hunting team leave him for dead, Glass must utilize his survival skills to find a way back home while avoiding natives on their own hunt. Grief-stricken and fueled by vengeance, Glass treks through a wintry terrain to track down John Fitzgerald, the former confidant who betrayed and abandoned him. Leonardo DiCaprio chose to devour a raw slab of bison's liver, even though he's a vegetarian. He also had to learn to shoot a musket, build a fire, speak two Native American languages, Pawnee and Arikara, and study with a doctor who specializes in ancient healing techniques. DiCaprio calls it the hardest performance of his career. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.